For showing up, folks. Now, like Wes said, now first I want to tell you that in the 70s, in the late 70s, early 80s, I worked in the gas field. And we did a little bit differently than they do now. He told you about the dome that they drill into. Now, I know probably by looking around the room, there's a lot of sports fans here. We know about football. We know what the end zone is. In the field, we call that the zone. Where the gas is the zone. When you hit bottom, you TD. Okay, back then we drilled through the zone, and they produced the gas from that zone, no fracking. When that zone is depleted, and it may take 20, sometimes 50 years to deplete that zone, there was no water coming up whole. It stayed in the ground where it belongs. It was put there 60 million years ago. I think there was a reason for that. But let's keep it down there. And then if that zone does deplete, you just come in with what's called a completion rig or a workover rig. Drill to the next zone. Still, no fracking. Okay? Now, we own our mineral rights. So when they first came to town, now when I say we, I mean my father and his brother own the land. They're both in their 80s. And when they first came in, they thought it'd be a pretty good deal. And I'm talking 1995 is when they started drilling on us. Now, most people here think it didn't start until 2004, 2002. We were the first 10-acre bottom hole spacing. Okay, we were in a federal drilling unit. That's what, I can't remember what you guys call it, it's a forced pooling area. Now, they come in and they told us if we got 75% of the landowners sign in, we don't need to, we'll drill under you and steal your gas. Love the company to work with. So my dad, he figured it was worth it because for the first two pads, they gave him more than he paid for the land. Not by much, just $1,000 more than he paid for the land, but he bought it back in the early 50s. Now, they drilled the first hole south of, east of me a half mile in 2005. The first hole on our property in 2007. We've got 19 holes on our property now. There's 100 holes within a mile of my house. There's a compressor plant a mile and a quarter from my house. There's a water treatment facility right next to that. There's another compressor plant a quarter of a mile north. Another one a quarter of a mile north of that. Now, we thought things would be good, might make a little money off the gas. Well, I don't believe that because they don't live up to their contract. When you start getting your checks, they've got all kinds of weird fees on it. Now, your contract says you get your percentage at the wellhead. Well, they change that when they start paying you. They charge you to move the water from the hole. They charge you to transport the oil from the hole. See, when the gas comes up, they separate the water, they push it over in these condensate tanks. Through natural convection, the paraffin separates. Now, I don't know if you have paraffin oil here with your water. West would.
No, they're just producing gas.
Pardon?
No.
No? Okay, so you guys won't have to worry about paraffin, thank God. But anyway, they pump the water off until there's probably 75% or 80% of the tank's paraffin, and then they pull that and call that an oil sale. But they also have their own facilities, and once that water leaves your property, they call it a waste product, therefore you won't get paid for it. Then they put it in their facilities and circulate it through other tanks and separate more paraffin off of it. But you don't get paid for that. They do. Because, it was a waste product when they took it off your property. Now, I didn't really want to talk about that, but I think you all need to know that because I'm going to rob you friggin' blind, pardon my language. Like that, I just bought Jeff a beer. But when they came in, okay, and they started drilling, we thought it'd be okay, but then around 97, 98, I started noticing problems with my livestock. Okay, I raise Appaloosa horses and goats. The mares started slipping, and I call it slipping, I guess the proper word would be aborting their colts at 5 to 7 months. It's hell to go out and catch 2 horses. One's a live mare with a placenta hanging out of her, and the other one's the dead colt hanging on the ground. A little hard to get a little profit off that. And then I started getting headaches, dizzy spells, sinus problems. Could be developing allergies. Hell, I was all 40 years old. Might be allergies. I had that. And then over the years, things got worse for me and for the livestock. In 2003, late 2003 through 2005, they had evaporation facilities around my house to evaporate frack water. Now, you know it's frack water when they put a ribbon around it like it's a used car lot. It's got the real brightly covered, nice scene. You got all these red, white, blue, and yellow, and green ribbons all around. And then there's a big red sign, white and red sign in front that says, "Do not use." That's because, like Wes explained, the chemicals are proprietary. And they don't know it. Schlumberger's chemicals will mix with Halliburton's, or Halliburton's will mix with Calfrac. So you don't know what's going on. Well, then, all these pits full of this frac fluid, in 2003, they put what I term as a floating irrigation system on top of them, EVAP, they call it. And they try to evaporate the water. Over on the table here, I've left some pictures of evaporation facilities that were around my house. It went from 2003 to October 2005. Now, during that time, I questioned the industry why they were doing it. They told me that water had already been through their water filter. Well, that water filter wasn't built and put online until November of 2005, 1 month after they stopped evaporation. There was no filter. In 2004, they cut a T in a produced water line. They put produced water, they transport it to the water filter plants and stuff in a big poly line. That's to reduce the truck traffic on the road and the dust, for our health. When 2004 on the east end of my property, they cut a T in that line, attached a piece of 8-inch metal culvert to it, put it in the creek. They rip-wrapped it, then put screen in it, then rip-wrapped it again because they expect a pretty heavy flow out of that pipe. When I asked them about that pipe, they told me that they were returning the water to the river after it had been through the filter. Now, I've already explained that filter hadn't even been built yet. Another year and a half they built the filter. And I asked them a simple question. When they put that T in the line, they put no valve in it. How does that water, coming from several miles over in 2 other drainages, it comes from Knuckle Creek, Mam Creek, West Mam Creek, and then down to the station, how does that water know to go past that T, down to that filter, and then come back again and put itself in the creek? God, water has a brain. Man, water has a brain. I didn't know that. I always thought it just flowed on the ground. And I went downhill. Like my dad said one time when they come up to regrade a pad, that we had a frac spill in 2005. They covered it up with dirt. When they came in 2008, now they didn't get there until 2008 to clean it up, to fix the soil. They told me they cleaned it up. And what they did is put about 2 foot of soil over the top of it. They didn't clean it up. And in 2008, to get their attention, because they refused to answer their phone or return their phone call, I padlocked my gates. Be careful about that one. They'll call Homeland Security. They told me that was environmental terrorism. I told them when the federal officers come out to have them look down. Has anybody seen the film Gaslands? Okay, that moonscape that you see with the pads every quarter mile, that's my house. Welcome to my world. We've got 100 wells within a mile of my house. Over there's another picture of a condensate tank. I think it's near the bottom. But if you look at the tank next to the barn, you'll see methane and produced water coming out the top of the tank. That's a daily occurrence. I probably can't commit suicide by sticking my head in an oven because I think I'm immune. But please, nobody light a match. Because in 2004, my whole body seized up. I couldn't reach my face to eat. I couldn't walk. I couldn't drive. I couldn't do anything. So I went to the doctor's don't know what's wrong. I went to my physical therapist, don't know what's wrong. I went to a chiropractor, don't know what's wrong. I went to an acupuncturist, herbologist. She clued right away that it took her 30 minutes, but she figured out that I'd been poisoned by gas. She didn't know if it was liquid or airborne, but it was gas, and advised me to get a tox screen. This is my tox test. Okay, folks.